when people don't pay their taxes.
Tax collectors, mother. Hey, again.
Tomorrow, this stall will reopen under the supervision of the Sheriff of Lloris.
I've been looking everywhere for you. What's wrong? The city's gone mad. Who's been hurt? This is a baker's kiss! And this is a donkey's kiss. Spoke to the elves. This is dangerous. I've read the scrolls. They slaughtered. I know, you're right. Elves are dangerous.
You steal from us, and then offer us a token in return to not just forgive, but further help you. We're nothing more than a rumor to humans these days, so I hear. Keeping it that way is the only way we keep things as they are.
If they find him here, they'll kill him.
Look what you bring to people who follow you. Murder, mayhem, death. Look at the blood you spill in our city. Well, this stops today!
Hello, everyone. My name is Heather Hurt with the NRW, where nerds rule the world, and I am here with Stuart Brennan, who is the director and star. He actually did appear in some of this film of WARLORD, an upcoming film out this week. Is that correct? You said out this week?
That's correct. Yeah, on Friday.
On Friday. Where is it coming out? Because I know y'all are doing the circuit, correct? Y'all are doing the film circuit.
Yeah, so we're doing. So it's going to be available on all digital pay-to-watch streaming services. So anything like Apple TV or Amazon, you'll be able to find it. And then we're also doing a whole host of film festivals all over the summer. Perfect.
We'll talk more of those about the end, and we will repeat that. But just to make sure, you can find WARLORD all over in all of the places, in all the digital spaces. So let's get started. Where did this movie? This is a fantastical film about elves and humans and all of the monsters and D&D creatures in between. Where did this film start from? Where did the writing come from?
Oh, I think from the passion of growing up, loving everything to do with the wood elves. So I grew up in a place called Devon, which is on the south coast of England, and growing up in the sort of 80s and 90s, there wasn't much you could get your hands on. There was Lord of the Rings, of course, which I read when I was about 14 and instantly fell in love with Legolas and all the wood elves in there. And then, of course, I read The Hobbit, and David Gemmell became a big influence on me. And I just really loved fantasy, and I discovered Warhammer and all the little Warhammer miniatures and would paint up my wood elf army. And I was just fascinated by this culture. And as my career's progressed, I've been very fortunate in that I've been able to start exploring different fantasy races. So in my movie War Chief, we explore orcs, and in Assassin's Guild, we explore goblins and the undead. And so in this movie, I was like, right, I want to go for the one I love the most, which is the wood elves.
That sounds lovely. So then to go with that, is this kind of an extended universe that you're building, or is this, it's its own thing? Nobody needs to see anything else. I mean, they should, not saying they shouldn't, just nobody needs to see anything else. Or are you trying to build a universe of your own?
So it's a great question, and I'm absolutely building a universe. Yeah. So if you go back through my filmography, the very first movie is a modern day sort of zombie movie called Plan Z that I direct. And that is in the universe. Wolf, which is a Roman werewolf sort of thriller, is in the universe. The Necromancer is in the universe. And then War Chief, Assassin's Guild, and Warlord are all in the universe. So I kind of I go back about 100,000 years in our history, because we just know so little about humans and kind of what our history is. And I just think we've got all these wonderful stories all around the world about dragons and things. The most obvious answer is sometimes the most likely. and you think, well, maybe some of these things existed. And that's my world that I call Arbor Vitae, that I'm slowly exploring through graphic novels, vinyl soundtracks, movies, and hopefully stage plays too. So there are very small, I guess, golden nuggets throughout each of them. You'll start being able to spot. They're all loosely connected. And as I guess I get older, I'll be able to start connecting the stories more and more. That's half the fun for me.
Just throwing out that age there. You got to get old to understand what you're doing better, right?
Exactly, yeah. That's how it works, right?
As you were creating this, you do star. You are one of the leads in this film. Why did you want to put yourself in this place and not just be just the director? Why did you want to be in this film?
You've put that so lovely. Why did I want to put myself in this film?
That did sound really mean. I didn't mean it that way.
No, it's a great question, and it is really nicely phrased because it is an important decision, casting. And obviously casting yourself is part of that process. I think there's two very honest answers to be given here. One is that I've built my career as an actor by giving myself the opportunities that afford me the chance to play roles that I would like to play. And so I work very hard to be able to write screenplays, produce screenplays, direct screenplays that have great acting roles that I can then give myself. Secondly, so that is a goal of mine. Like, acting's my passion, and I'm cheating. This is my cheat code for being an actor. Do all of this crazy hard work, and then you get the chance to do this. But alongside that, a real harsh reality of the industry is that if I cast myself as the lead actor, I don't have to pay myself. And I know I'm going to give 110%. I'm going to be the most committed actor possible in that cast. I can do stunts, I can do fight sequences, I can do all sorts of things that put me in jeopardy, and I'm not going to hear a single word of complaint from the lead. So I have found it's been something that I've been highly criticized for. I'm an easy target when you put yourself out there so much. The reality, I'm just doing it from a place of love. I'm doing it from a place of something I want to do. I want to improve with every movie. And I think I'm doing that. And in this film, I'm really proud of my performance in it. I worked with some wonderful actors, and that always helps and lifts your performance. But yeah, it's as you kind of go on, you start going, wow, if I had an actor that I had to sign up to do all of this, to learn the archery, to go through the fight sequences, to do the accent, to be available for all of this, and so committed, it's a lot of money. And on the small indie films, you don't really have that budget. So you luck out when you find actors like that who do come that prepared and are that ready and that committed. But it takes a lot of pressure off me as a producer, if you like, when I put myself in something.
And the networking is also a lot easier when you know yourself, right? It's
Yeah. Yeah.
And you're speaking of the cast though, you had a pretty phenomenal cast. I mean, like, I won't deny, frickin' Billy Boyd played your sheriff. How did you just say it? How did you get him to come and join you? That's pretty exciting.
It's really exciting. So I met Billy a few years ago now, just before COVID, and we were talking about another movie, a Richard the Lionheart movie that I'm still very keen to make. And we met for lunch and just really hit it off. I think we have similar passions in life: food, wine, whiskey, second breakfasts, and yeah, we sort of stayed in touch very loosely. We happened to run into each other just in a hotel in London, very randomly, and sort of touch base. And I mentioned, hey, I've got this movie coming up soon. Do you think this sounds of interest? And he said, that sounds great, mate. Yeah, like send it to me. And that gave me the courage to actually send it to him. And I really hoped he'd go for it because the sheriff is such a cunning, mischievous character that to see somebody who's so lovely as Pippin, he really is. He just warms your heart as a character on screen. To see an actor change so malevolently and deliciously into something evil, I thought would be really fun. And luckily he really liked the script, and we jumped on a few Zoom calls together and walked through it, and he came to set and was his charming evil self.
It's always fun when you get to see actors of any nature just break out of that shell that we put around them. And most of the Lord of the Rings cast, unfortunately, were kind of thrown into these very specific corners of the film universe, and it's nice to see them kind of branch out. So with that being said, other than Billy, because I think that's a cheat code right there. Who gave you the most surprising role? Who was the most surprising when you saw them, when you were directing them during this experience?
The most surprising performance definitely came from an actress called Felicity Holbrook, and she's this is one of her first feature films. She, in the audition process, auditioned for numerous characters, and sometimes you just get a feeling that this person's great, but the role's not quite right for them. What else can I find them? And she's actually a friend of mine in my network. And so I've recently met her, I think a few weeks before we started casting. And so I said, why don't you come over to my house and we'll do a read through. I want to give you a few other characters to read. So we sat down and I gave her Axel, which was written for a big burly man. And I said, try that. And it was brilliant, because I think strength is something that we often see completely misrepresented on screen. There's strength in everyone, and everyone has their own wonderful courage. And when you see it start to come through, it's just you can't look away. It's brilliant. It's the sort of magic of cinema at its best. And she brought that, and I just thought her as Axel, because she's so sweet and lovely off screen, you wouldn't for a second imagine that she's that aggressive and got that much steel within her. But of course she does, like everyone does, and it really comes through. And so I always feel incredibly proud of her performance.
Then let's move right into the main body of it. Elwyn is the story of the elves in Elwyn, whom you play. They're trying to, at this point in time in your storyline, they're simply trying to survive. And you have this semi breaking point in the city, where elves can come back, where they can finally find their way back, where they can finally push back against the humans that really that betrayed them at this time quite a bit ago. So tell me about the story. Tell the audience about the story. Where is Elwyn at the beginning? And of course, no spoilers. We want people to go see that. We want people to see the film. But from your perspective, where are we, and what story are you trying to tell when the audience goes to press that button for digital pickup?
So we're exploring accountability within leadership, and accountability within everyone, really. If you look at everyone's storyline, that's ultimately what's going to resonate throughout. And I think we discover Elwyn, who is the warlord of the Wood Elves, at the beginning of the movie. And he's pretty comfortable, really. He's enjoying teaching a younger elf, Typhel, all of the ways to be a good wood elf. And he's really embraced kind of this new wood elf culture. And that's where we find him. And then the humans start, and the city's displaced. It's very clear that they used to be in this city, the wonderful city of Lloris, and now they're living in the trees. They've now become, the sort of high elf movement is over. They're now wood elves. And then the humans start coming into their forest and treating each other very poorly. And the wood elves are kind of observing this. And the question starts to become, if you see somebody suffering, should you intervene? And there's a lot of questions around that. It's not as simple as, yeah, let's just send in the army. You can always remove one dictator and put another in, and then we've got all sorts of issues that curtail off from that. And I think that's what I really was interested in exploring through the story, sometimes big decisions seem really simple and you think that should change. But once you start playing that through, then there's all sorts of other questions that are equally as dangerous that start coming off that. And we're seeing it today in so many different countries around the world. We're seeing all of the issues we talk about in the film, from representation, accountability. Do we, yeah, who makes the first move? Who deserves what? And we explore that through all of these different sort of conversations and interactions, and observing the two different cultures at work, the wood elves and the humans. And there's a really lovely kind of few speeches that Elwyn gives about being a wood elf and how to take a wood elf approach to things. And I think that's the only sort of commentary I have on any of it, is through the wood elves. So anything they're sort of Elwyn's preaching, I guess, is probably as close to my opinions as I'd ever dare to put into a story. But yeah, I think it's a fascinating reflection of so many of the turbulent strifes that people are facing today. And I hope that everyone can relate to certain characters in good and bad ways. And I've found it so fascinating as audiences watch the film, if they side with the humans at the end or if they side with the wood elves. And it is a split, and it's really interesting. It really sparks some really fun debates. Everyone comes out wanting to talk about what they've just seen.
Yeah, there's definitely a moment where you're trying to decide who you would want to stand with, because in reality it's not good versus bad. There's that gray line in every, it's a little bit darker versus a little bit lighter gray. It's not necessarily one way or the other. With that being said, let's when audiences do see what side, you know what, I'll change this. I usually ask that silly question, what would you like people to think when they walk out? But what side are you on? I'm curious, what side are you on?
Oh, look, there's a line in the film that says, curse the humans. And I just think, yeah, I'm on the wood elf side 100%. But I'm on Elwyn's side until the very end. Until the very end, I think the beauty of realizing what you've got is something that we all struggle with, in today's age, especially. And I think that's the one thing that Elwyn understands, is that if sometimes you just look around you, actually, things are pretty good. I saw a lovely quote from a comedian called Jimmy Carr, who said that when you wake up in the morning, you have a hot shower. Anyone that you admired who lived 100 years ago never got to enjoy that invention. That's how lucky you are. And I think that's a pretty cool way of kind of looking at your day and starting it, and certainly that's sort of the wood elf mantra that Elwyn's trying to spread.
I like that quote. It's a wonderful quote. It's true. It's true. Some of them got that nice hot shower, that nice hot bath, though, if you were
True.
privileged enough. Gotta be honest there. But with that being said, my final question for you actually goes a little bit further back. You were talking about how this is the end of the High Elves. They have been cast out of the city. Everything, the old age of the elves is gone. How are you planning on extending this part of your story? Did you want to do a prequel to explain what happened between the humans and the elves prior to this, or are you hoping to continue on with Elwyn's story going forward?
So the way this movie maps out is a trilogy. So this is the beginning of that trilogy. As we go forward through films 2 and 3, there will be some sort of flashbacks to show some of the things that happened. If you go to Assassin's Guild, there's mention of the execution of the elves, which is one of the things that's happened in the past. And so what I'm doing with a lot of my work is creating like graphic novels, short stories, all sorts of things to keep enjoying the storytelling and keep kind of sprinkling it through different medium. And so I'll definitely be looking at the execution of the elves and when that happened and why. But that'll be totally separate, really, from where Warlord goes on its trilogy, because the next movie, as you can imagine, will be something much darker than what we see in this one.
Yes, I could see that. I could absolutely see kind of drifting into those dark spaces. So Stuart, thank you so much for your time. As we said at the beginning, I did not do my research. That was on me. I should have known better. But as we have now talked about it, and it's going to be available on digital as of this week. So that would be as of May 16th. Is that correct? It's May 16th?
That's correct.
So with that being said, where else can they find you? Where can they learn about the events you will be attending, the movie will be going? Where can they find you?
So the best place to find us is on Instagram. We've got Stronghold Studio and Stu Brennan Actor are the handles for us there. And that's where we're posting everything regularly that we're up to. And then our website, stronghold.studio, also has all up-to-date information on the film festivals we're going to be attending, and some more information about the film, including Elvish Mead and Elvish Rum and Battle Brew Beer, some of the wonderful products that we've created with Anik Brewery to go alongside the movie. So you're able to enjoy something elven while you watch it.
And I was making the joke before we got into this. I wish I had some mead to go along with. I mean, I love mead, so that's awesome.
No, I've got a bottle of it right here for you.
Perfect.
When we meet in person, I'll be sure to bring you one.
100%, 100%. Unfortunately, a lot of those sites. So for those of you in America, which is most of our audience, you might not be able to get them because some of those sites, unfortunately, don't go outside of Europe or even outside of the UK. So make sure you check on your location before you order. But if you can, order me a thing of mead too. Just, you can do it. Thank you so much, Stuart, for your time. Please like, subscribe, share all of these things down below. And we will talk to y'all soon.
Thanks.
Nerds rule the world.
Pleasure chatting with you. Love to all my nerds who rule the world.
Yeah. Nerds rule the world.
Yes, we do.
Thanks. Nerds rule the world. Thank you.
I love the nerds ruling the world, so more power to you.
Patrick, what up, man? And yes, they do. Nerds rule the world, kid.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Awesome. Kuya P, nerds rule the world. Hello.
Yes, they do.
Yes.
Oh,
nerds rule the world.
I got.
It's in the title of your show, like nerds rule the world. Like I want more black weirdos on screen, and I don't feel like we ever get to see that very much.
Thank you so much. Nerds do rule the world.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you, nerds rule.
Love it.
Hello, Sarah. Hello, Julianne.
Yes, nerds rule. Yes,
rock on. I love it. Thank you so much.
It's good to see you. I love Nerds Rule the World.
But yeah, there's a heavy nerd component, man.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, if you ask me, nerds rule the world. So
absolutely.
And you're right. Nerds do rule the world.
We're just the best.
Yes.
Thank you, ladies.
Nerds so much.
Thank you.
Yes. Thank you, guys.
Bye.
It's your boy Kuya P. Nerds rule the world. Thank you so much, guys. I appreciate you.
They rule the world all right.
Yes. Take care, Tony. Thank you, guys.